The Brooklyn Nets, a team headed by a three-headed monster in Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, were the favorites for a lot of people coming into the season. Due to injury, the 2020-21 playoffs did not go as planned. James Harden got injured in round 1 and never really looked like himself again. Kyrie Irving got injured in round 2 and didn't return for the series, and essentially, Kevin Durant was the only player playing out of the three. And even with only Kevin Durant, the Brooklyn Nets were shoe size away from beating the team which eventually went on to win it all. So consequently, many people expected the Brooklyn Nets to dominate this season with all three of their guys back and healthy. But it obviously hasn't worked out the way they expected it to work out. Regression, injury, Kyrie, and many other roster construction issues have made this a very messy Brooklyn Nets season. And this trio of the three most offensively gifted players in NBA history might go down as one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history. And today, we're here to talk about that.
They be like, yeah. Can you teach me how to dirty? You know why? Cause all the bitches love it. All I need is a beat that's super bumpin'. And for you to back it up and dump it.
Leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I drop regular NBA content, and with the NBA season going on, this should interest you. So do subscribe to the channel and make sure you stay till the end so you don't miss out on anything. Let's get into it. The Brooklyn Nets right now are the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference and have only half a game lead before falling into the play-in tournament and are 4 games away from being out of the playoff picture as a whole. They're on a 7-game losing streak and things are not looking good for them right now. Kevin Durant is 3 to 5 weeks away from coming back after an MCL tear. Kyrie Irving is playing part-time basketball and full-time conspiracy theorist, and James Harden is in trade rumors right now. Their defense has been bottom 5 in the last 15 games and they're 5-10 in the stretch. When I say things are not looking good for them, I am not exaggerating. The biggest on-court problem for them is obviously their defense. James Harden has been one of the worst defenders in all of basketball and they have no good defensive scheme. But that is far from the biggest problem of this team, and that says a lot. Shams and The Athletic just gave a report saying the 76ers are expected to pursue James Harden and the Nets are listening to the offer for this coming weeks. This is a massive development because at one point the Brooklyn Nets weren't even listening to the offers. James Harden is having a good year. He obviously hasn't been as good as previous years, but he has been a good basketball player. He has been one of the best playmakers in all of basketball. But with that being said, he has looked like a shell of himself. The biggest reason for this is he's very obviously playing through an injury. His first step does not look the same. The majority of his off-season probably got spent rehabbing from the grade 2 hamstring, and he put a decent amount of weight on, which is heavily hindering his first step. And his entire offense is surrounded around that quick first step. So when he beats opponents with his first step and the defense collapses, he generates some of the highest quality 3-point looks we've ever seen. And now without that, his offensive and playmaking value has fallen down a decent amount. He's shooting 33% from 3 this season, the lowest of his career. And he's shooting 57.4% at the rim, the second lowest in his career. His finishing at the rim has taken a massive hit. From B-Ball Index finishing database, his finishing talent, a metric which takes into consideration everything from shot quality and his shooting percentage at the rim, his finishing talent this season has gone down from 98th percentile last year to 86th percentile this season, which is a really big hit for his standards. Add on to that his defense, which has been arguably the worst in all of basketball, Harden has fallen off as a player by a decent amount. In my opinion, this has a lot with him being injured. His body language and movement are something which cannot be ignored. This also explains his frustrations with the team and his openness to being traded and the constant rumors of him going to Philly. He's being asked to carry a team playing 40 minutes a night while being injured just because his teammate is playing part-time, which is something anyone should be frustrated about. Because the whole selling point of James Harden coming to Brooklyn was him being able to get a load off himself, which he carried in Houston, and play with 2 very reliable scorers alongside him. Without going into the politics of the situation, Kyrie Irving cannot be playing part-time. It just doesn't work like that. The chemistry issues with this happening are very obvious, and this will only be a bigger issue if the Nets have bad luck and face a team like Toronto in the play-in, because Canada doesn't allow unvaccinated players to play right now, which means Kyrie will not be able to play in Canada. All the dysfunction in this team right now initially rooted from Kyrie's vaccination situation. When Kyrie plays, he looks awesome, which is a shame because he can only play part-time. There were reports about a fine which would allow him to play, but according to Zach Lowe's podcast, that wasn't even a real thing, and it's just too much of a PR hit for them to do that. Basically, this whole situation has not been very good. Kevin Durant is at the peak of his powers right now, and literally everything around him has been very sketchy. An MCL injury is a bit of a scare, but Kevin Durant has made it clear he's just this basketball god who'll be back just as good with or without his injury. So assuming he comes back fully healthy, is this team a contender? How is this team even going to look like when Kevin Durant is back? Is James Harden going to be on this team after February 10th? We don't know. Nothing about this team is certain. But one thing which is certain is that they're not in a good situation right now and have a very good chance of imploding. This team might go down as one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history, which is a shame because what we saw in a very brief stretch during the first round last year was special. It was scary and something I wish I saw more of because it was beautiful. But this might mean the league has parity again and this big three won't be able to dominate everyone like we expected them to. And with that, we have come to the end of the video. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already.